Why, hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Dishin Days, where we're serving up a full dish of this week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. I'm your host, Tony Moore, and I'm joined by my gaggle of gals. We have.
Hey guys, Justin Hareld here.
And I am Araceli Aviles.
And Michael Mattis is currently out of the office. He is starting his holiday spirit I think he's in Ohio right now.
Yeah.
So happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Michael Mattis, our lumberjack, probably chopping down some wood or pretending to be the brawny guy. Wherever you're at, Michael, happy holidays, and we'll see you in 2023.
Yeah.
But you all are here, and we appreciate you. But make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, and Dishin Days on Twitter. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching us live, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell notification. That way you'll never miss a live show. And if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast station, which is Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, thank you for taking us along on your road trip, your holiday travels, your walk on a treadmill, or as you're pumping it up in the gym. And also, don't forget, buy our merch. That's right, y'all. We have merchandise for the holidays for you. So if you are a Dishin Days fan, make sure you head over to dishindays.threadless.com in order to find these lovely items, such as our Meliswin logo, our Possessed photo, Dishin Days logo, or if you want to serve up a full dish at the holiday table, make sure you go and head over to dishindays.threadless.com and buy your merch today. Also, for your full soap opera fix, make sure you head over to my chocolate twin and former co-host of Dishin Days. James Lott Jr. has JLJ Media, where he is serving up a full dish of Bold and the Beautiful, Young and the Restless, and General Hospital recaps. So make sure you head over there, JLJ Media, on YouTube. And while you're there, check out his original audio dramas brought to you by JLJ Media. All right. I feel like I got through that one pretty good.
Yeah.
Those were pretty smooth. I gotta give myself a pat on the back on that one.
Yes, ended the new year right. Ended the year right.
Yeah.
Today is our last show for the year. We're gonna take a break, and then we'll be back January 8th, 2023, for an all new Dishin Days. And right now, if you guys haven't realized, yeah, we're pre-taping. For us, it's Saturday. For you, it's Sunday. But we have to pre-tape our show because the holidays are so busy. But we still wanted to come to you guys and bring you guys a fabulous show with a special guest today. Miss Jessica Serfaty will be joining us later on today. You guys know her as Sloan Petersen, the statuesque lawyer who is coming to Salem and is wreaking havoc and making people fall in love.
Or fall into something.
Well, yes. Somebody this week spent a lot of time. But she will be joining us later on in the show to get to know her and also find out more about what's happening in good old Salem. But first, what did y'all think of this week's episodes of Days?
I like this week a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I've been really impressed. I think maybe I said this last week. The pacing these past couple weeks has been really good. I feel like we've been seeing about like 80 to 90% of the cast each week.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good they've been doing like a couple days, one storyline and like wrap that up. And then they'll move on. And, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday was like all new stuff. So I actually really like this week a lot.
Yeah, I agree. We got a lot of the cast and it feels like we're going to be getting a lot more in the coming weeks. I really liked it.
It was cute. It was a cute week.
There was a lot of dialogue.
Yeah, but there was, and we'll get into it. There was a moment where I was like, "Girl, really?" And then there was a moment like, so it was and then there was a moment of like, "Oh Lord Jesus," and then there were moments of, and then oh no. So I guess that's how I would describe this week's episodes, but they were very good. I think there's a lot moving forward, but I have a lot of questions. But let's break it on down. It is now time to start
Dishin
Days. That's probably the closest we'll ever get. Araceli, you lagged a little bit, but we're gonna blame it on your Wi-Fi. All right. Set it and forget it. All right, so let's kick things off with the Lord, the first storyline. We just gonna call this clowns.
Send in the clowns.
Okay, so be real and be honest. How do we feel about this storyline with Xander, Bonnie, Gwen, Sarah?
I mean, we know it just made everything 1,000 times worse for when it eventually does come out. But Greg Ricker gets to do a lot. I'll say that. He gets to do so much. And every time you think, and this is a guy who's been in soaps for, I think, about like 2 decades now.
Yeah.
And you kind of think that he can't do anything more. He's not being asked to do anything more. And then he gets asked to do something completely new. And I'm like, he must be having so much fun.
Yeah, for me, I like this storyline for what it's giving the actors, I think, and something like stuff with like Leo, it's giving us something fun to do. But the other side where Judy, she's really playing the PTSD, and I find that interesting. She's a phenomenal actress, so I like that for it. I mean, it's a silly storyline off of something more serious that they're kind of towing the line there. But yeah, I like it because it's giving these specific characters something to do and it's bringing them together. I love Gwen, so I like the addition of her here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm liking it.
Y'all, this storyline is a mess. It is a capital MESS. And it's because what I really wished was that Xander had just came clean to Sarah, period. Right? Like right in the beginning. I wish he would have just said, I'm really trying to make a life for us. And I didn't want to resort to this, but I'm doing what I have to do for us. And even though I know it's wrong, no one was supposed to be hurt or anything like that, right? And then boom, we're done, right? But it's watching the lie build on top of a lie, build on top of a lie, build on top of a lie, on top of a lie, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. And I just feel like this week it really hit the fan when, Bonnie figured it out. And note to all characters in Salem, if you're going to call the police, don't tell the person that you're calling the police on that you're calling the police until you're far enough away from them to call the police.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because I see what you're saying, Tony. I think, though, the trump card here is Ava, and in my opinion, Susan as well. I think if he thought Ava, or if he knew Ava was alive or thought Susan was alive, I think that confession may have come. But when they were so, quote unquote, killed, I think he saw an out there of like, I can possibly keep this a secret. And even though I have to like do the next step and the next step, it's also, I can kind of get away with this. But I think if he knew Ava was alive, I think he would have come clean. Because she's hard.
The second you have to tell somebody else who's not even involved, Gwen, your secret, and Gwen is the one who's like digging you kind of further and further into this by creating the website, bringing in the contract, doing all this stuff. And then you have the other side being like, why are you not going after them? You know what I mean? It's like it all becomes weird. And so it just becomes a lot. And then I also feel like, what they're putting Bonnie through. Because the first kidnapping was a lot for her. Now the second one is kind of like traumatic as well, because it's like now she feels like she has to watch her back because guess what? They got away, even though it was Leo, they got away. So now she's going to be, this whole time, so it's like, So it's doing a lot to that character while trying to cover up a lie. And the saddest thing is going to be when it's all exposed.
Yeah. I mean, Xander's just a dummy. I'd say he owes Gwen. Leo's right. He owes her big time.
Yeah.
And the only, as bad as these actions are, as much as I'm yelling at the screen, oh, you're just making it worse. You're just making it worse. For the first time, I kind of believe Gwen when she says she just wants the best for Xander.
Yeah.
This is the first time where she says it, and I believe her.
Then tell him to confess.
Yes, but I feel like there's so many ways that once he took her into his confidence, there are so many ways that she could have played this out to break him and Sarah up, and she didn't. She seems like she genuinely, and I think that that's part of loving someone. When you really truly do love someone, is that you want their happiness more than you want your own. And for the first time, I actually believe that she wants that for him.
So let me ask you guys this, and I'm typing this out as well. Which team are we on? At the end of the day, who do we want Xander to end up with? Are you Team Sarah or are you Team Gwen?
I gotta say, I'm a slightly more Team Gwen. You mean in terms of coupled-up?
Coupled up, yeah. Because after this,
yeah, I'm slightly more Team Gwen. I think he's more his natural self with Gwen, and even though I like him trying to be a better person, I think he's more his natural self with Gwen, whether that's good, bad, or indifferent. So I like him a little bit more.
Yeah, see, I'm Team Sarah because I think he needs Sarah because clearly he does not do well without her.
Yeah.
And Gwen, I feel like now that she's on her own and she has no more schemes of her own. She's scheming on his behalf. She seems like she's finally in a place where she genuinely wants the people around her to be happy. And she genuinely wants to do a good job, like make her dad proud, be at the Spectator, really make a go of this career. So I feel like I'm Team Sarah only because I think that everybody is better off in that scenario. They're their best selves when they're in those places.
It's interesting because Justin, your team Gwen, Araceli, your team Sarah, and I'm on the fence.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if Sarah accepted Xander for who he is, then I think they would be the better couple. I think Xander sometimes is going to revolt to like those devious ways, right? It's kind of like, it's a perfect example. It's kind of like the Maggie Victor scenario where Maggie just had to accept that she's not going to turn Victor into this sweet, man. He's still going to have these moments of like, I got to get this person, and I'm going to do what I need to do to get them. And she just has to be like, all right, just don't kill him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like because we wouldn't even be in this mess right now if Xander felt comfortable enough to go to Sarah and say, I gotta do what I gotta do. It's not gonna cause any harm to anyone. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
well, in any other scenario, if he was doing something shady-ish, I think maybe that would have been the case, but just the name Ava Vitale automatically discounts that because there's nothing about that woman that screams sane or rational or nobody's gonna get hurt.
Yeah. Well, she's a whole nother thing, and we'll get to her in a second. Yeah. But But we'll see how this continues to play out. I kudos to Days for not just throwing Leo into the suit and the mask, but showing us
Yes.
how they planned on matching him and Xander with the
God.
platform shoes,
Yes.
with the chest.
Yes.
So thank you for that. Even though he still looked nothing
I
like
know.
No.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
nothing at all.
I like that trio of troublemakers. Like that's they're sort of good-hearted. They're not bad people, I'd say, but
Mhm.
I like that mix of like great character with them where they're like 70, maybe 60, 70% good on any
Uh-huh.
given day and like 30 to 40% bad. So I like that trio and I like that they keep weaving in Leo, not only with Gwen, because we've seen that relationship, but they keep matching him with Xander. I mean, remember, they have that history there of sort of Leo always hitting on it, and now they're sort of working together in a weird way. And we have the stuff with the Very Salem Christmas where they were matched up together. So yeah, I like that pair together, and I like Leo in the mix of like a Xander Gwen sort of scheme or something. So
I mean, it's such a mess.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's such a mess.
yeah.
I'm like this, like when it all gets out, it's like, oh my god, like what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do?
Hmm. I'm thinking. I don't
It's
know.
gonna it's going to be that is one of two things that I'm just like, this is about to be a bomb going
Yeah,
off.
yeah. Look, yeah.
Pun intended.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see how that story unfolds. Lord Jesus. All right. Let's move right along to Sloan, Eric, Nicole, Rafe, Jada, Kate, and Roman.
Mm.
Can we get a count of how many times Sloan and Eric had an afternoon delight?
Well,
I
it was night, morning, and afternoon.
Yeah, so
So
3, I think, possibly 4.
I was
no,
I think
five, right?
yeah,
At least.
I think it was up to 4 or 5
Uh-huh.
Okay.
because there was a moment where just when they woke
I love
up,
we're doing this.
what?
No, we're laughing because we're doing a real tally of
Yeah.
we're getting into
Well,
analyzing.
And
because
we're not even, and we don't even know what the count was in the middle of the night.
right. So it's like it's like they did one, and then I didn't start counting until the next day, and it would just be like, well, I mean, we got time, and then they'll cut, and then it'll be like,
The
well,
fallback, yeah.
and it's just, well, and I was just like, and at some point, I think I was at 3, and I was like, how many? And then I think it was 2 more times
It
after
wasn't that
that.
many total.
It was, it
It
was,
wasn't that many now. Come on.
it was a lot because I felt like it was 3 before Nicole got there.
Oh God.
And then it was another one when she left.
You're counting every scene they were in bed together. I mean, they were in bed
Yep.
half the show, but I don't think
I promise you,
you're counting
when-
after every commercial break, Tony.
because after every commercial break, Eric's chest was a little bit more sweatier, and they were in another like. So that was fun. Like, and then
I mean, I'm not mad at it. I mean, yeah.
I mean, neither am I, but I'm just saying it was a lot.
Yeah.
You know what? If you guys who are watching, what comment
What's the
below?
count?
What was the count? What was the tally? Because it was a lot.
Oh, God.
It reminded me of the time when Nicole was pregnant and she was with Daniel, and there was an episode. Excuse me, an
Oh,
episode
I
where I was
remember
like,
that. Yeah,
they just been doing it all day, and she's
I
pregnant,
remember that.
right? Just saying. Anyway, how do we feel about Sloan and Eric?
I kind of like them.
Mhm.
I kind of like them together. I wasn't crazy about it at first. I was like, okay, is this just Eric sort of the beginning of his downward spiral kind of thing, and this is how they're interpreting it. But I actually like them together. I think we're seeing in her interactions with Eric, we're seeing the initial Sloan that we like. That was a very sort of interesting, complicated person with some nuance there, and we're seeing that in her conversations with Eric, which I really like.
Yeah, and I think we got a lot of good stuff out of Sloan this week. This week she was not the evil person who was going up against Paulina and Chanel. This week she was just herself. She was just a very driven woman who believes that she has the right to sleep with whoever she wants to, that she's a responsible grown woman. She can do what she wants to do to satiate her needs. And she also gave him, I mean, I hate to say it, because I know that there are people that say like maybe Eric is going down the wrong path, but she did make a very valid point to him that's like, why are you denying your anger? Like, anger is a valid emotion, and do you have the right to call people names and get in fights in the street? No. But do you have a right to be angry at how quickly your life has turned upside down and everything? Yesterday you had the thoughts of being with the woman you love and having a child, and today that's all gone. That's and that happened really, really fast. So she made the valid point that he hasn't had time to process it, because it happened so fast. It happened without his knowledge. So yeah, he has a right to be angry, to at least the feelings.
Sure. What about you, Tony? Are you liking them? Or
I think I don't know if Eric. I don't know.
Too soon, yeah.
I like that there's no history. You know what I mean? Like with Eric and Nicole, there's history. There's a lot that's happening in the first time, second time. But you know what I mean? Like there's just a lot, and sometimes to just have like a clean slate with someone is better for like healing and for moving forward. I like that there was just no intent except like just having like being in the moment, and just having a great time together. And if nothing else happens from that, I'm okay with that. If they continue to grow and like get to know each other and something's there, I think I could be open to it. I am just kind of sad about Eric and Jada. I think there was something about them that I think really worked. And I think that because Jada is 100% real and 100% honest, I think it went with like how Eric lives as well. And I think if it wasn't the interference of Nicole, then I think Jada and Eric would have been a better match.
I didn't even need them to be a romantic match. I thought, I could have seen them as really good co-parents who would have been worked really well together in raising a child. That's possible, people. You can have just friends who just are on the same page and have the same values, just raising a child and really building up a human being into a good person, because they're both good people, and but it just it went haywire.
And so now we have Nicole not learning her lesson, showing up on another woman's doorstep to confront her about. Like, I understand you're worried about Eric and it came from a good place, but it was like, girl, again, like, did you not just learn?
If he's not at his house, it's not your job to go to her house.
He's not in jail.
Because if I was alone, I would have been like, you need something?
Yeah, right. Clothes.
I mean, and it's like she's like talking to his parents about like, oh, I'm worried about him. Like, look, if his parents were really that concerned, they would have jumped on it. They would have gone out and found him. If he was missing for more than 24 hours and they hadn't heard anything by then, yes, they would have gone and sent out a search party and gone looking for him. But they weren't concerned. They knew he needed time. So why is she doing this?
Mm-hmm. And I like that they made a point too, which was really nice. Roman made a point to say, you know what? Me and Kate were like on your side, ironically, and like, girl, like like they were being very nice to her, given the way they felt, basically that she screwed things up and blew it with Eric, and she, she's quote unquote at fault. So I thought that was a really nice distinction to make. Like, girl, like.
While still respecting,
we were rooting for you,
while still respecting Jada's decision, they're still, they're okay with Jada. They understand that it was her body, her choice. They're not going as far as Eric is and blaming Nicole, but they are saying, take some responsibility for your actions.
But listen, I was living for Kate because Kate was not having it when she was sitting there at the pub and Nicole was there. She was just like,
Yeah.
And I respect Jada's choice.
Yeah.
It was what about your coffee?
Yeah.
Like it was just all those little like typical Kate and Nicole like little digs where Kate was just like
And it's funny how that works out where we saw before, like in the past, she also has expressed that of like, I think you deserve even though I don't like Nicole, I think you deserve to be with her and you two belong together. And now we see this sort of friendship developing with Jada and Kate. So that puts Kate right back on the offense with Nicole. So I thought that was like a really interesting tidbit of like, she wants to root for Nicole, but like the friendship with Jada is giving her that little nudge to be like, okay, like, I'm on the opposite side here again now.
Well, I don't think it's about sides. I think it's just she respects Jada and she doesn't really respect Nicole because Nicole keeps screwing up.
Yeah.
But also now there was a moment where I did feel bad for Nicole, and that was when she came downstairs at the DeMera mansion when Rafe was there trying to get EJ's statement, and I mean he really looks at her like you whore, and I'm like it's not even like that. Like you have to understand.
Does he though? Does he have to understand?
A little bit.
This is another one where I'm like, look, I'm not going to say that it's okay to call someone names and call them a whore and things like that. But he's another one where I'm like, he has a right to his anger.
He does have a right to be angry, but at the same time, stop looking at her like she's just bouncing around from guy to guy since you left, since she left you. Like, because that's not the case. It was a tough decision, I'm sure, for Nicole to really go to him and say, my heart doesn't belong to you. I loved you, but like my love for Eric is stronger. And it's like, do you want to be in a loveless marriage? Not a completely loveless marriage, but you know what I mean? Like, again, people in Salem want to be with somebody that don't want to be with them. And I'll never understand that. But
I'm not sure, but with Rafe, I'm not sure that it's that he's angry about necessarily. I think it's the fact that she wasn't honest with him
from the beginning.
From the beginning.
And I can see that. And I'm not saying for him not to be angry. I'm just saying stop looking at her like whore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the way that be shocked that she's there, but you could tell it was automatic of like, sleeping with him now, huh?
Yeah.
Careful, bro. She got turned down by 2 of her exes. Now here she is with you know what I mean? It's just like, it's like, don't add salt to the wound. And also EJ, hold on. And also EJ, it's like, you stop poking the bear because he did it with Eric and then he did it with Rafe. And it's just like, oh yeah, you did it. And it's like,
yeah. I think there's an extra element though with Rafe where it's like, listen, if you're going to break up our marriage to be with Eric, I think there's a part of him that always will understand that. But now it's like, well, now you're not even with Eric.
Yeah.
And now I think you're with EJ, even though you're not with EJ, which by the way, she could totally afford an apartment. She can afford the Salem Inn. She is allowing herself to be in this environment. And I think
because she got a job.
as much
Very
as
good
she's
job.
going with the idea of like, why I had no place to go. Well, that's not true. I mean, you're allowing yourself to stay in this environment, which you have every right to be. You're not attached to anyone. You shouldn't care what other people think. But Rafe is going to look at you sideways when you come down the Demira mansion after leaving him for another guy, another man who you're now not even with. You're now not with someone else, but you are now allowing yourself to be in the presence and in the company of this other person who you have a more tumultuous history with. It's a lot.
And that was basically the point that he and Jada made to each other, where it's like, you know, this is such a mess. And they're both out. They're done. They're tired of it. They're tired of the drama. They're tired of the back and forth. And yes, they both deserve a clean break.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how many more towel drops are going to happen with Eric and Sloan, and how many more times Nicole is going to be there to.
Yeah.
What y'all doing?
Whose door is she going to show up next week?
Girl. All right. Now we move on to.
Is this the one? Is this the one you were referencing, Tony?
Huh?
No, is this the storyline you were referencing about? You have questions.
I have questions about a lot of stuff, but yes. Now we're on to the memorial of Susan Banks, the revenge of Ava, and the mourning of Johnny, EJ, Kristin, along with Brady. I would start off by saying this. I think that Ava is off her rockers.
Oh, yeah.
Because I honestly do not understand the revenge part of what she's doing. You jumped out of the car and left Susan in there, which there's still a part of me that's like, because you're around, I think you like seeing EJ suffer. But Ming Ming, not Ming Ming Susan, but Susan is, I feel like she's just somewhere, just like, that main Ava got me locked up away from my Elvis.
Yeah.
But now I'm at a point of like, okay, what's the goal? Because now it was first it had to do with Susan. Now you're just like, well, now I want to kill EJ, and I'm like, can't you just take your blonde wig and just hit it?
Yeah. It was also the like, oh, I can get revenge on everyone who's wronged me, and I was like, wait, who wronged her? And then she brought up Nicole, which I was like, okay, kind of. And then I thought they were gonna somehow get Rafe there, like a plot twist or something. But also, like, there was no regard for anyone else who might be there. It was really strange. Like, I think I'd understand this plot more if she thought like, oh, this is gonna be a private thing with just EJ and Nicole's gonna be there or whatever. But like,
well, she didn't know all them other people were going to be there. Her focus was EJ.
Yeah, but she was willing to kill
Yes.
all these random people who she didn't know. I mean, like,
including Johnny.
Yeah, you didn't think Johnny would be there. You didn't think other Demiras would be there. You didn't think other random Marlena. Like,
that's why I think, and especially because she keeps talking to Charlie, which shout out to Mike Manning.
Oh, right.
Like, we thought you were just gonna pop up, but like, welcome back, I guess.
Yeah.
Thanks for being Ava's conscience. Y'all wanted him back. He's back, y'all. For a little bit, I guess. But but like watching her just go through this, I'm like, she's really rolling in the deep, going off the deep end. Like that screw got loose, and now I'm just like, girl, take that money and be happy, girl.
Yeah.
It's
Hello Trip, who came out of nowhere. That was a shock to me. That was like a real surprise.
But I love that they gave him a reason to be there.
Yeah.
Because then that gave Ava a reason to expose herself. Now, this is what I will never understand. Okay, here we go. We are in the church to mourn Susan Banks.
Okay.
I want you all to show me what you would do if someone said the following. Trip, get out. There's a bomb in the building.
Oh, I'm taking off. Yeah, exactly.
Y'all
You
were
said
supposed
bomb.
to show. Y'all were supposed to show. Okay, let's go back because this is a moment where we play. Okay, I'm gonna do it again. Trip, get out. There's a bomb in the building. Right. Everyone else stood there like, a bomb? I'm like,
well, I mean, they know when it was going to go off. The 5 seconds they had to leave.
Yeah.
And first of all, listen. Let me tell you this. There was enough seconds for me to be like, but what I will say this: what I loved when they revealed the bomb the first time, I was like, clever days, giving it an hour, which we know that it's gonna end up going off at the end of the episode.
Yeah. When it flashed back at one point, it was something like 40-something minutes, and I was like, "Oh God, we're going."
We're hitting it, and now I'm just like, all right, well, let's see who survived this. And then I was like, that poor church has been burned, blown up. Like, can you imagine the Secretary of Treasury being like, all right, so the devil caught fire. No, actually starts back to, well, we had the Weston wedding and that blew up. So now we have to restore the church. And then it's like, look at well, y'all, the devil has set fire to the foyer. So now we have to, and then it's like, oh, look. Well, Ava Fatale came in town and blew up the festival. So, and it's like, that poor church cannot, the funds that they have to raise and the just in case funds that they have to raise is ridiculous. But, yeah, I mean, there's obviously going to be some aftermath of that. We're going to have to see who survived.
Yeah. What was there something? Oh, we had the Brady sister. Is that?
No, later.
Okay.
Oh, what? Brady and Sister Mary Moira?
Later. Yeah. We'll get to that in a minute.
Hold on.
We have it.
I think. Oh, yeah. Yep.
But so now, at least now everybody knows, we'll see who survives the bomb. But at least now everybody knows that EJ is not innocent in all this. Yes, Ava is off of her rocker, but he conveniently left out that part. So now Steve knows, Rafe knows, Jada knows, the whole church knows. It's like, no, you escalated it. You got it to the point. I don't think anybody is going to be blaming him necessarily because Ava has taken it way, 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 way too far.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's room there to say, hey, you were not innocent in this.
Mm-hmm. Well, good luck, everybody. All right, let's move on. But before we do, just a quick reminder. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, and Dishin Days on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is also under Shocker, Dishin Days, or search for us on your favorite podcast station, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Just type in Dishin Days to add us to your playlist. And also go and buy our merch at dishindays.threadless.com. And now, moving on to some tidbits. First tidbit we have, and then also just a reminder, coming up in just a few minutes, we will have Jessica Serfaty joining us, Sloan Peterson, to chit chat and kiki about all things Salem. So make sure you stick around for that. Now in the tidbits, we have Stephanie and Chad. Am I the only one that felt like it was rude that Chad was eating the romantic dinner?
No. You don't eat. I'm just kind of thinking like you don't eat another man or woman's food that they made for somebody else.
And
she should have sent Alex with a to-go plate.
And she was all like, I mean, I cooked this romantic dinner for Alex.
I know, right?
And then he's sitting there like.
And she still had the candles lit and everything. Like she didn't you didn't have time to put them out, really.
And also, it seemed like they took a break to eat, as opposed to being like they didn't have like laptop out or like books or whatever, that kind of stuff. So it was always like, oh well, you could have took like 20 minutes to eat with Alex if that was the case. Like,
I mean, look, I really, at this point, I'm not sure I have any stake in Team Alex or Team Chad in this, because it feels like it's time dependent. So I'm not sure I have a stake either way. But so the only thing that I will say is that, guys, it doesn't take that long to come up with a PR statement. It really, really, really doesn't. It doesn't take that long.
I mean, maybe. I mean, when I type out stuff, it takes a little bit. I mean, you
Not
have to think
for
of
PR.
you have to think of a whole strategy. Once you put out the statement, you have to be like 5 steps ahead.
Yes, but you, to Justin's point, you don't take a break to eat and then do it.
Well,
you
listen,
eat while you work. You're like, okay, we got to do this. We got to do this. Okay, what's the best? You're strategizing.
they're building something because I think Stephanie still kind of has some feelings for Chad. And I think Chad underliningly has some feelings for Stephanie, but it's too soon for Chad.
Yeah.
But then there's Alex, who is there wholeheartedly, who we knew since the beginning. She kind of like liked Alex, but it was the fact that he just seemed like such a typical playboy. She was just like, not having it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I feel like you are, Araceli. Like, you know, I look at Alex and I'm like, I get it. I look at Chad and I'm like, I get it. And I'm like, just like, Stephanie, whoever you end up with, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind either one, but I'm actually Team Alex. I'm Team Alex here.
And again, it goes back to like, because there's a cleaner slate. Like, if it was Chad, you know, she doesn't have to deal with the fact that he has kids. He's still mourning the loss of his wife, who was the love of it. Like, there's a lot to deal with there. Where Alex is like,
Other than a family, but yeah.
Or it's like, or you know, are you team abs or team ass? Like that's take your pick. Yeah, Alex has the abs. Chad has the ass. So, anywho, so we'll watch how that continues to unfold. Kristin, Brady, John Marlena, Sister Mary Moira.
That's the reason I am wearing this halo. Don't come for me.
Still, shout out to Stacey Hyduke for killing it as Sister Mary Moira. Did I miss something? Is there some sort of plan hatched with Kristin between John and Marlena?
Yes.
They did it at the town square. They came up with it in those scenes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I might have. I might have been doing something, and I missed it. And I just didn't go back.
It was kind of quick too.
Huh?
It was kind of really quick too. They didn't delve on exactly what he was going to do. It was more like,
But whatever he's doing, it's working.
I can't believe it was working. The whole time I was watching, I was kind of like, Kristin, you're smarter than this.
But I also love the fact that he brought up,
yes,
that's why I fell in love with you. And I'm like, thank you. Because I feel like a lot of times people forget how obsessed Kristin was with John. And that same obsession is now with Brady.
Yeah. And who she was before. Like, she was the goody two-shoes, the DeMira family. She was Alice Horton's protege. She was the dedicated social worker who was always looking out for kids. Like, that's who she was until she had that breakdown. Mm-hmm. That's who Kristin was. And a lot of people remember, like, it was, the reaction was more like, how dare John and Marlena screw over Kristin back then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't, you know, she had the sympathy back then in the initial part before things went left with her. But yeah, I kind of thought John was laying it on a little too thick. I was like, she's going to see through this. I thought he could have pulled back a little bit. It was a little too much, I think, for their first interaction. But other than that, I like the idea, like the plan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, Kristin has a plan of her own when it comes to Brady, and that is to get in where she fits in. I'm gonna have Rachel make me a mistletoe too, so I can just go under and be like.
I kind of want to know who crafted that now because it was really cute.
It was cute.
Look,
cute. And actual real mistletoe, the berries can be poisonous, so you want a fake one.
Mm-hmm.
Week after week, she's succeeding. We're seeing it. It's something like she's gaining ground with Brady.
I mean, they did have a very, very good laugh at Brady's expense.
Which I felt could have went a little further too if John didn't interrupt them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I like that Kristin was like, so Brady, if you found out it was me and you laid a kiss on me, what would have happened next?
Listen, when Kristin does that couch thing she does where she puts one leg and folds it on the couch and kind of leans, she does that when she's with Brady, you notice when she's on the couch, she does that lean, the arm up here, kind of by his shoulder. Yeah. That's
that very
move, yeah. Yeah. So she can lean in close. Yeah. That is the quintessential Kristin move when she's trying to get close to someone.
But I'm telling you who didn't appreciate that kiss. Sister Mary Moira. She was like, oh, girl, I hit myself.
And people were asking why last week my reaction to the trailer, like, you don't kiss a nun, you don't get anywhere near a nun. This is why. Because and mind you, this isn't just any nun. She's an old school nun. She's a very particular kind of nun. This is the nun that makes children scream from catechism classes. They run screaming.
Especially with the ruler.
Yes.
That's why they're running, because she's chasing them with it. But don't
I kind of got the feeling there was a small part that enjoyed it, though. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I think there was a small part that enjoyed the kiss.
Because I mean, it did last a little long.
Yeah, I think there was a small sliver there that was like, okay, this is what the other side experiences, or this is what I'm missing out on.
I hope I didn't hurt my eye. I did hit myself. The first thing I thought of was like, oh my God, please don't let me have a scratch cornea or something like weird. Okay, we're back. But yeah, I guess Brady would know next time. He looked horrified too.
Yeah, he did.
He looked horrified.
It took him a minute to get it, but yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of nice to see Kristin for once having a genuine laugh.
Yeah.
I will say that, because because Kristin is so used to being the schemer and knowing things that people don't know, and for her to just walk in and like, you did what?
Yeah.
Speaking of Brady, Stephen, Chloe, Brady, and Eric. I don't know where these opera tickets came from, but I felt like that came out of nowhere, unless I missed something again. I was like, I didn't even know y'all was supposed to go to the opera today. But the way Stephen laid in, I was like, calm down. Like, we know you're trying to show off for Chloe, but like, that's a lot. But there's a part of me that just kind of likes Stephen and Chloe. I don't know why.
I like them. I do like them.
I think what it is about these couples is the clean slate. It's the not having the history, and sometimes it's just nice just to go into something fresh and new.
Mm-hmm.
So
I do like them. And there was another line that reminded me of that made me think of them earlier, which I appreciated when EJ asked Nicole if she was settling in, if Holly was okay. And she said, oh yeah, Holly's great here because she has such great memories of living here with Stephen and Chloe. And that made me think of them again, of like, oh yeah, they were a good little trio there. As much as sometimes we say their relationship was short-lived originally, but I felt like they packed in a lot of time between her moving into the DeMira mansion with him and being with Holly and all that. So yeah.
Well, it's a very heightened time as well, if you recall. She was being stalked, and he was basically her only protector.
Yeah.
And also it was a great moment between Nicole and Johnny and them reminiscing about, when he was younger and how, she used to treat him and everything like that. So
okay, wait, hold on. They brought it up. They finally brought it up. They brought it up
before. They have brought it up before once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what? We're gonna need an explanation. Is it still a glass eye? I need an explanation. Did he have some special surgery overseas?
It's fine. He can see. That's all that matters.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
But out of one eye or two?
It doesn't matter.
Listen,
Ralph, can see
I'll say the special one. Yeah. It's a bionic eye.
Lord. All right, you guys, that was our week of days. And now it is time to get into our segments. And we are going to start with mine, which is Tony's official 3 Snaps Award.
Oh, snap!
All right,
Oh,
so
snap!
listen. Uh-oh.
Oh, snap!
All All right, so listen, I always feel like this, right? Um, if you are going to be someone that is going to, oh my God, y'all can tell, oh, there we are. If you're going to be someone that needs to go through town and make sure people don't recognize you, baby, look fierce, honey. Look fierce. When I saw Ava in this look, I said, Ava, you better work. You better
Yeah.
go through town giving us blonde, giving us Rachel Zoe, giving us
Yeah,
a
it's very
look.
Rachel Zoe.
So, Tamara Braun, Ava Vitale, for you tramping through town in like a chic getup, you get Tony's official 3 Snaps Award. Oh,
snap!
all right. And now we don't have a caption that because Michael Mattis is not here, but what we do have is
those were the days.
Hey everyone, I'm taking you back to December 15th. December 15th, 1999, where we had the introduction of kind of one of our favorites, Faye Walker, of course, some other of Brandon, Nicole, and Taylor, here played by Valerie Wildman, who a lot of us who are old enough remember her from her stint on 90210 with Josh Taylor, who she played a couple with, who they actually recreated that right before, unfortunately, Faye was killed off. They had her and Roman kind of teamed up or kind of almost paired up together as a couple. So yeah, all you older 90210 fans. And I always thought this was like not senseless killing, but I always felt like she was one of those people who they can bring back and like add a lot to the story. And who knows, maybe we'll see her in the future. But December 15th, 1999, Valerie Wildman, she debuted as Faye Walker, one of our favorites.
And you can actually see an interview that we had with her many years ago when we were back in the studio. So make sure you check it out. And
those were the days.
And now it's time for It's a Gift.
This week's It's a Gift goes to the very scary Sister Mary Moira, reminding us all why we are, even if you're not religious, you treat religion with a certain reverence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And if you don't, you get the
yes.
I'm wincing just watching it. I'm genuinely wondering how if Eric Martsolf had like a bruise on his arm after that scene.
Possibly, because that ruler came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I can tell you that.
Right.
All right, you guys.
Andy.
It is now time for News and Gossip.
Silly show. We are starting off with congratulations to a friend of ours, the series The Bay. It is having its series season 7 premiere tomorrow, Monday, December 19th. You can catch it on Popstar TV. Also in the new coming early in the coming year, they're going to celebrate their 100th episode. So big congrats to them. And of course, our connection, our friends from Days who are currently will star in season 7, Mirabeth Evans, of course, A. Martinez, Mike Manning, and Brandon Beamer. And to catch up on all 6 previous seasons of The Bay, you can actually stream it on Peacock. So yeah, if you need catch up or refresh your course, head to Peacock and yeah, get your Bay fix. Yeah. Next up, we have a couple of events from Starstruck fan events. The first one is April 15th through 16th in the coming new year, hosted by our very own Mr. Tony Moore here. Of course, in attendance, Billy Flynn, Robert Scott Wilson, Teo Penglis, Dan Furgo, Zach Tinker, Greg Rickard, and lovely Leanne Huntley. So that should be a good one. Yeah, next up, we have one that's a little bit sooner. This one is January 27th through 29th. This one's going to take place in Orlando, Florida. Those in attendance, Judy Evans, Vincent Irizarry, Brian Datillo, Jordi Villasuso, Cassie DePaiva, Patricia Darbo, and Kevin Spiritus. So all information, tickets, and information, go to starstruckfanevents.com. Next
Oh my
up, we
God,
have
so many buttons, so many buttons,
yeah,
so many
like,
buttons.
yeah. The Day Players Band has added some new dates for the coming year, and if you haven't seen them and they're coming to a place near you, please go out and see them. We've all seen them perform live. It's a really, really great show. You get your money's worth. They're a great, great band together. They just gel together. Not only as actors, but also as musicians. A couple of the dates, they added 3 of them. February 18th, they will be in Sacramento, California. February 19th, they will be in Tacoma, Washington. And they added a date for May 6th on the coming year. They will be in Montreal, Quebec. So go to www.thedayplayersband.com for all tickets and information. And yeah, please go check them out. It's a really fun show. And yeah. Last but not least, we have been telling you about the Days of Our Lives VIP dinner that Spectrum Celebrity Events is putting on Friday, March 3rd, 5:30 to 7:30. A special guest, Carson Boatman, Colton Little, and Christopher Sean. And you may even see some of us there that night. But yes, if you're in the LA area and want to participate in the Days VIP dinner, please go to SpectrumCelebrityEvents.com. It should be a fun night.
Yes, it should. And I think that's only for VIPs or like gold members. So make sure you check out the website to find out about how to become a gold member. All right. So now we are going to show you what is coming up on this week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive Days of Our Lives.
Up at the Hortons, family's here, hanging the bulbs they hold so dear. Down at the K's, they're merry and gay. Golly, it's the holly jolly holidays. Ho, 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 she doesn't know. Ho, 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 Lee's gotta go. Oh, jingle your bells and kiss her quick. And don't miss a tribute to Uncle Vic.
When do we open the gifts?
About an hour after we throw you out on your sugar plum ass.
I love everything about this.
That was really good.
Oh.
Yeah. Wow.
And shout out to the Day Players for doing the jingle.
Yes.
So and it sounds really, really good.
Yeah.
So kudos to them for that.
There's a lot there. That was a lot.
Yeah. It's definitely a lot. It's definitely a lot. Yeah. But it's going to be an interesting week, and we get to see the hanging of the of the ornaments. So that's going to be good. That's going to be great. We're looking forward to it. Well, everyone, I think. Hold on one second. Sorry. Okay. All right. So we are now
technology
and live TV, everybody. Well, pre-tape, but live
for us.
Live stuff. Perfect. We are. I was just about to have a moment of like, well, I don't know, and then it's like, oh. So our guest should be. Oh, look at that! That is perfect timing. There she is, everyone. So, ladies and gentlemen, super excited to have her join us. You guys have been introduced to her as the statuesque beauty of Salem, coming in to duel out the laws. But we are going to get to know her a little bit more. Please help me welcome to Dishin Days, Miss Jessica Serfaty, Sloan Peterson. I almost said Peters, and then I got the son. Jessica, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing so good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. We literally were at the point, and I was like getting an email, and I was like, oh wait, and then you popped in, and I was like, oh yeah, she's here, y'all.
Yes. I know. I wasn't sure. There was some stuff that was going on, but we're here. I'm so happy I was able to make it. And
so good to have you.
Welcome.
We are we've been excited about your arrival in Salem, and we actually thought like that it was going to be just like a short moment. We didn't realize that it was going to be turned into like a full-on character. Was Was that the first intent? Were you supposed to just be like on there just for a minute, and then they were like, let's expand her a little bit?
Yeah, I think that was the idea, was to kind of bring me in and test the waters. I had
Okay.
been auditioning for the show with Marnie at Days for many, many moons, and never
Wow.
fit. And so the writer actually said he had me specifically in mind for this role
Oh, cool.
for me, but we weren't sure if it's it's hard to do soap operas. It's hard work. It's you have to be, you know, disciplined and trained and know how to memorize 30 pages like the night before. Sometimes this happens. And so I went in, and everything just went so well. And like, obviously I love the whole cast of the show. Everyone, it's like a family. And I really do mean that. Like, everybody gets along. It's so fun just to even be like, when we're not filming, just hanging out. And anyway, so I was going for 4 episodes, and then they wrote me in, and here we are. Like, I don't know, like 80,000 episodes.
Yeah.
Well, just so you know, if there was any worry as to like how you're doing on the show, you are doing amazing. Like, you have literally come in and like you have torn that town up, and
I mean, I am just like shaking up everybody's lives. So just I need to be so involved. I'm like poking everybody here and there.
Yes.
But continue. Go on.
No, I was gonna say, Jessica, we've been seeing, especially the last few weeks, they've just, again, we talked about expanding your character, and we've seen you interact with so much of the cast, and just these various different storylines, and they're pairing you up with different people the whole time. What has been your most enjoyable scenes to film so far that you can tell us that has aired?
Well, first of all, I grew up watching. I just know Jackie's gonna hate me for this, but I grew up watching Sister. You know, Lisa Landry. This is like my growing up, and I remember being there, and I was in hair and makeup, and I look over and I see Jackie, and I'm like, I just, and then I was like, oh my God, I hope one day they write me in to just have a scene with her.
Yeah.
And getting to work with her was so memorable and so exciting. I remember being so nervous that like I was speaking and I wasn't even making sense actually what I was saying. I was completely double. But anyway, that was a very meaningful moment for me to get to work with someone who I grew up watching, who I always respected. I mean, she's an icon, truly. Like, I went after and watched, like, making this all about her. Now it's not about Sloan and Eric. Like a reel from all of her highlights, like her most, just some of her great moments on camera. And I just wow, the woman was like, she's always just been on fire. So amazing to watch on camera. And so that was maybe my favorite, but I really do love getting to act alongside Greg Vaughn the show. He's just delightful. He's also so easy. It's like,
and we saw a lot of Sloan and Eric this past week. I mean, we were talking about this during the show, and because Eric and Sloan could barely get out of bed this week, and there were moments where we were like, y'all, how many times was this afternoon delight? Like, how many times did it happen? Because
we counted.
Yeah, because it was like it's like you guys would wake up, and then there would be dialogue, and then be like, and then you go back, and then it come back to a commercial, and it was like,
and a shower again, a hop and a skip again. I know. Yeah, there's passion there, and you don't deny passion when it's knocking at your door.
Yeah,
you gotta do it right.
Yeah.
But and I have to give you kudos, Jessica, because your face during the towel moment was everything that we would think, how we would look if we were in front of Greg Vaughn.
Yes.
You're happy about it.
Yeah, because people do those scenes, and it's like sometimes it's like a blank stare, or like, but no, you want to convey like passion. And,
of course. Also,
like,
Greg's I just have to make him happy as well. He's like, well, don't stare at it like a disappointment.
No, but I lived for it. But also I was like, now girl, it takes a long time to get ready, but we'll mess it up for one more round. I mean, it's great. It's Eric, why not?
Actually acknowledging that, and it's so true, because I'm thinking, yeah, right. Like if I go and do my hair and do my makeup and just goes and I'm going to obviously day as Sloan does, and then I just know I'm going to start back from ground zero. I mean, I don't know how many women like really who understand, who get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So grooming's a lot of work.
Grooming's a lot of work, but yeah, no, to have that freedom, she just would rather have fun, whatever.
Yeah, you got a naked Greg Vaughn in front of you.
And it's so much fun to watch. I'm actually really glad that you brought up that Marnie had kept you in mind for other future roles. This is something that we love about her, that she does. Almost every single person we've had on the show has told us that it's like that they've auditioned for Marnie for years and years, and that she's always just looking for the right fit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Marnie, my first audition with her was so intimidating. I remember being fair warned, even. They go, no, look, Marnie's a strong woman. She's, they didn't say she's from Boston, but now understand everything makes so much sense. You're going to be strong. Like the East Coast, and they go, she might make you cry. I'm like, what do you mean? Like out of fear or out of like joy, or ask me to cry for the role? Like what? Anyway, I go in and you do have to be able to tap into your emotions rather quickly for these shows. It's not go and take an hour to prep and listen to your sad songs. It's kind of like, okay, and action, and someone just someone just got hit by a car. Go. And so there was so much pressure. And Monty goes, okay, Jessica, I really like you. I'm fighting for you. You hear me? But what I need from you is I need you to get into it and to feel the emotion. Cry. Watch this. And then she just starts crying, and she takes my script, holds it, reads it, does it way better than I did it. Tears are pouring down her face like this. And then she goes, that's what I need you to do. And I was like,
wow.
Okay. Anyways, years later, like I did not book that.
Yeah.
Then the next time I went in with Marnie, I was, I kind of had remembered my experience with her and just strong personality. But you also with her, you want to impress her and please her because she's rooting for you. Like I knew she really wanted me to get this role. It was so also there's that pressure of like wanting to, it's like a kid, wanting to get grades, not just for you, for your parents. You want to make them happy, whatever.
Yeah.
And and I don't know if I should say this, but I was so nervous. I was like, I was going in for a callback. This is the one time before I booked this one. And I'm like, it's like 9 a.m. And I'm like, I'm going to go and get a little, like one of those little shots from a liquor store.
Yeah.
I've heard helps, some actors say, I'm like, God, why does this have to be at like 10 a.m. though? I'm going in to read it. And so anyways, I tried this. I'm not a day drinker, period. Like I can only drink in the evenings. Otherwise you'll find out on the floor. But I took this shot. It was a disaster. Let me just tell you.
Oh no.
I'm one who can drink and act like an idiot to go book something and completely just like sabotage myself with that. Marnie called me in again.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Saw something. Yeah.
Through failures, through everything, she's been a big supporter and always giving me another opportunity. And this time it just so happened to work out.
Do you remember those other roles that you went out for and what the characters that they eventually became? Because I know like they don't really tell you exactly like who the character is and everything when you initially go in, but did you know who they were like afterwards?
No.
No,
you always wonder that though when you audition.
Yeah.
Like, got my part. How did they do it? But no, because it was some kind of. I went the last role I went for was like a physical therapist or something like this, and
that would have been Jordan.
You know, then okay.
A few years ago, maybe.
Was that was it
Yeah,
was
that
that one
was
like a few years
Jordan.
ago?
No, this one was the same
Oh.
year.
Oh, this
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, the same year? Oh, oh, well, maybe.
Oh.
Now
Maybe
now
yeah.
you got our
I
wheels
know.
turning of like who wait
There we
look
go.
at that, bam. Now you have our wheels turning. That's interesting.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We will. So initially, when you did they tell you anything about the Sloan character, and like has that changed since now they've expanded the character and everything like that? Like, what were you given versus like how Sloan has evolved?
Well, I don't know if we ever planned on having Sloan have such a soft side.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because initially it was just, just everything was all about sex, revenge,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a powerhouse woman.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say? Steamrolling over people. Anyways, I don't know.
Yeah.
And her whenever Sloan was introduced to Eric, I think they actually just saw something there that was just because of Greg's demeanor, my demeanor, and it was just so natural, like where there was something a little bit more soft. He allowed her to be more soft, and definitely potentially. So I don't know if that was ever planned or intended, but we liked it. It works. Yeah. He's the only person she can be vulnerable with, and I don't think that was intentional. It just happened.
Yeah. Listen, let me tell you, Greg Vaughn has a way of just looking at you and you swear he's looking at your soul. There have been times, because we've known Greg Vaughn for years, and every interaction, it's like he's so connected to you,
He's
and it's
very into. Yes, you're right. He really
yeah.
gives his undivided attention when he looks at you. He looks at you. In fact, sometimes it's intimidating, and you're like, and break the contact.
Yeah,
like,
and sometimes like little old me, I just melt. I'm like, oh, hi, Greg Vaughn.
Like the hearts behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Greg Vaughn.
Speaking of that early Sloan, we love that Sloan who sort of came in and take charge. It was really about, she was interested in having fun and dating Alex and all that kind of stuff. But it was like, we like that she didn't let that get in the middle of her career, and she was very career focused. I'm curious, have you received or what have you paid attention to any sort of the response to Sloan on social media or in the public? What has that been like for you?
At first, they always say never read the don't listen to what people are saying, blah blah blah. But you can't help it, and you do. And it was pretty negative in the beginning. They were like,
"Oh, really?
This slut? What's the point coming in?" And people are very territorial over Alex. Fine. But then now it's a bunch of love.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why. I haven't looked into it. It was just kind of like, oh, my character's hated.
I think it's them trying to figure out because
it's nice to be the villain. FYI, I love that I got to play. Get to play a villain. Far more interesting.
Oh yeah.
Well, I wouldn't call you. I think based on this week's events, I don't think we would call you a villain. We were talking earlier in the show about how those scenes with Greg. We did see the softer side of Greg, and I don't know if you're aware. I feel like you're a part of this, this great group of young women who, in the past few years, have come in and they are career driven.
Yep.
They are sex positive. They are unapologetic, and they are just real.
Exactly. We live in a different time, different day and age, and these things are becoming more normalized and accepted for women. We're not just there to do your laundry and breastfeed your kids.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you what Sloan is not doing. She's not. She's like, listen, here's some breakfast for a job well done, but I gotta go.
But I gotta go. Yeah, you could stay, but I gotta be somewhere.
I gotta.
Yeah.
And it's also been just such an interesting storyline because like as they expanded Sloan, we were then introduced to this murder that Chanel was a part of, and then to find out that it was Sloan's mother and that there was an affair with the professor, and Paulina covered it up. What was your initial reaction to this storyline? Because it was like boom, it was like it expanded not only your character but also given some history to the characters who are already on the show. What was your reaction to the storyline?
Everything just made sense. Understanding why someone can be, unapologetic and hard, and in the beginning you think of that those types of lawyers as just kind of like scum. People go and like blackmail people because I'm getting paid by some client, and I don't really care how your life or how your kids or how anything is affected, as long as like I'm getting my paycheck at the end of the day. And so I had to figure out what I still related with and could empathize with. If you ever play a villain, you have to understand your villain's motives, and actually kind of become the hero in your own story. And because villains don't really see themselves as villains often, they do feel justified for what they do. And when I found out my character's storyline, I was first of all just very happy, because then it makes her much more relatable, and it explains the drive and everything. But still, you always play devil's advocate, and as I do, I feel like in real life, and I think about there's a lot that you're about to see coming up actually in the next few years. Yeah, but how far can someone really take it? Like if we're killed, is there an end? What is justified and what's not? And yeah, I can't say anything.
I know it's so hard because it's like you're trying to remember, okay, what's shown versus like what I've shot that's not going to come out for months.
We do have to say this storyline, it really has, I mean, even on our show in past episodes, we've had some very spirited discussions on your particular storyline and what it entails, everything from like sexual harassment versus like manslaughter versus an accident, and how what does that mean, and how does that make you look at different characters. But one of the things we can universally agree on, we love that they gave Sloan sort of this storyline, and bringing someone new onto the show and giving them the storyline. A lot of times we talk about sort of Days making sure they build up the younger generation and give them really quality storylines and give them something to do, that they're not just either appendages or they're not sort of the B storyline to like maybe some of the older people on the show. So it's been great to have someone come in with your particular character who's headstrong, career focused, and to give them sort of a front burner storyline. It's just really great.
I'm like, I mean, so much is going around Sloan.
And literally get face to face with Jack A. Harry. And I can't even remember the exact line that you said to her, but it was probably like a month ago or something. But I can't remember, but I remember.
I remember what. It was like.
I remember. I'm like,
I know. Can you
she
imagine
said that? Because
saying that to her, I think I probably hugged her after when they said, that. Like, okay, bring it in.
I would never feel comfortable saying that, even in an acting situation.
I love the dialogue. I mean, it's like cutthroat.
It is. One of the interactions that I do love as of recent is you and Nicole, because y'all have some shady moments against each other, and I love a good shady moment, especially like I think it was last week. Actually, last week we do our individual segments, and I give out the 3 Snaps Award. And last week, you got the 3 Snaps Award for when you guys were in the Horton Town Square and you looked at Nicole and said, Nicole Walker, Cook, Kyriakis, Tamara, whatever it is right now. And I was like, yes, I live for that. I was like, that is giving shade, honey, and I live.
Yes. I know, and there's so much fun stuff like this between Nicole and I. It's just wonderful, and her and I were hoping that they would write something into our storyline together, like whether I was her sister. I'm definitely not her sister. Yeah. I mean, you never know. It could.
You never know, right?
Look, one phone call can change a whole family tree. So, and that's days. But it's interesting because you and Ari kind of remind me of each other because speaking to Ari years ago, when she got on Today's, she was like they were basically looking for a model who could act, and that's how she came onto the show. And then I look at you, and I'm like, I feel like there's like a parallel like story between the two of you all who like you got on the show through the same way. So I'm like, there's something there. There's something there.
It's wonderful to be given the opportunity because, you know, having a background in modeling does make it very challenging, or even just like social media. You know, I was involved in social media and that was such a stigma, and it was like, this is not an actress, this is someone who's doing, you know, posting vines. Back when Vine was a thing, you know.
Oh, Vines. Right. Yeah. Oh, R.I.P. Vines.
We love R.I.P. Also, hello, Vine brought us Shawn Mendes. Are you mad?
Not mad at all.
Right.
They spit out, yeah. I mean, Rudy Mancuso is phenomenal.
Yes.
He did his first film with Amazon, and he's got another film in the works right now, which is like, if I told you who's attached to it, you would poop your pants. I'm not kidding. I cannot believe how these platforms like TikTok, like Vine, no matter what we say about them, have really given people an opportunity that they would not normally have. And I mean, we've got. Now I'm just rabbit trailing here. I'm like, but it's put out a lot of amazing people. So yeah, but Ari was God. I mean, I was watching her tapes from forever ago. She's just stunning, gorgeous. Sure, she faced the same stigma.
No, yeah.
I'm curious, Jessica, since you had that as a question. We know you have background in social media and reality TV. Do you bring some of that to like your character choices for Sloan? Like you said, we love like the attitude, we love snarkiness, the reading, we love that. If Sloan doesn't like you, she shows up ready to fight or play, or it can go either way with her.
Well, I mean, my background in reality, I did America's Next Top Model, and I've never been a catty person. I mean, I'm fiery, but catty was never something, and I feel more catty this year than ever. Because there were some men in my life where I just had to become kind of a bitch because people just don't respect you or take no for an answer or whatever it is. And then like growing up, I was allowed people to just kind of have their way. And eventually I really had to start fighting for myself and kind of become a bit of a thorn.
Yeah. I mean, listen, girl, I understand.
Out through Sloan. Oh, hell yeah. I feel so natural in this state, actually.
Yeah.
Nice.
Exactly. Do you feel like playing her ambition and her drive has helped you in your own life?
Oddly, yes. It's so weird how you can take something from a character and apply it. But yeah, because they inspire you. Sloan inspires me in my day-to-day life. I love that she doesn't let anything get in the way of her goals. Not even love. I've always been in that position in my life where I feel like I'd be so much further along if I had just not put my boyfriend on the pedestal first before everything else.
Men.
And and having the confidence to look someone in the eye and challenge them. It's okay to challenge somebody. A lot of times it's very uncomfortable, so we don't like to do it. But if you believe in it, just stand up
Do
for
it.
it, whatever it is. And it's in a city like LA, everyone's so fake. We're also smiley at each other, even though we hate you. Just why?
Not me. I'm from the South. If I give you a bless your heart, that bless your heart can mean a lot of things.
Oh, bless his heart. Oh, I love that. I love that phrase. I use that all the time too, honey, because I'm from the South.
Oh,
You can say whatever
you're
you
from
want.
you're from Arkansas.
Yes.
That's right. I'm from South Carolina.
Idiot. God bless her heart.
Oh yeah.
Whatever.
It can be. I mean, bless your heart can really like either pray to your soul or be like, girl, this dumb hoe. You know, it's like it can mean anything from that, and I love it because depending on the context, depends on. But it comes out sweet every time.
Yeah, it does.
Look, I'm from here, and I'm from here. I'm just on the other side of town. You got to get out of Hollywood once in a while, and we just call you a mental to your face.
I respect that.
Well, Jessica, we have some fan questions because we're normally live, and usually fans are able to like interact and stuff. We took some questions from fans in our little segment called Fan Mail. So we have a few questions for you. And speaking of America's Next Top Model, John Del Rey from Instagram wants to know, as a former A&TM contestant, have you met Sal Stowers before on Days or at all? Because as you know, Sal played Lonnie on Days, and she was the winner of Cycle 9. So have you ever met Sal?
No, I've never met Sal.
Oh no. We have to somehow make that happen. Yeah. She's a sweetheart, and she's like another dynamic person. I'm sure someone else who had to fight the stigma of a model, turning actress, and she killed it. Like the things that she did to prepare for a scene, like she put in work. So we gotta, Sal, if you're watching, we want you to meet Jessica.
Even Charlize Theron was faced with the same thing. That's why she wrote herself that role and, showed everybody how a beautiful woman can also be an actress. Surprise.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, it's still a shock to people. I do know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though, sometimes like I find myself also being judgmental. Like when I see a very handsome man, I'm like, he's got to be an idiot. Like,
I think the same.
I'm actually serious. I was thinking this, like, I think it was yesterday. I don't know. I saw someone who was just okay, we won't say, but someone's gorgeous, and I was like, yeah, definitely an idiot. Like, gotta be.
Jessica, don't worry.
That's not fair. This is exactly. It's just the way it is. But great to be given the opportunity to prove yourself.
Exactly. We have another question from Salem_sweet_bits, who asks, what's your favorite thing about playing Sloan?
How feisty and catty she is.
Wow. Look at her, she's got that's her. That's her right there.
I just want to, oh my God. I never realized I would enjoy it either. But like, think about like Gossip Girl, just how catty it is. I mean, it's fun because you don't ever actually speak this way in real life. Like the dialogue is so clever and witty and just like could cut through ice. I mean, we can be catty in real life, but we're not that witty. It's some really witty stuff, and so that is so fun to get to play.
Yeah,
especially if you're like that in real life, you can kind of live out that fantasy, put it away and unpack it.
I mean, look, I appreciate and value and love sex in every way possible. I like sexy. I love like sex appeal. I have since I was a little girl. I've always just appreciated it. But that you can actually kind of live out a little bit more in your day-to-day life. Like if I want to just go and like walk into like a room or a bar and it's like bam, 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 got my short skirt, my high heels, whatever. That is more natural. But just like having that really witty, evil dialogue is even more fun.
Yeah, I like that. Miss Vinyl asks, how tall are you?
I'm 5'9".
It's interesting because on camera you seem taller.
Yeah.
He's in heels.
Shut
Yeah.
up.
That's what it
bitch.
is.
Wow.
Well, because every time
I
like
know.
when I first saw you walk in, I'm like, oh man, she's like tall, and not
I-
to say that you're not like tall, but like
I give like, I know, supermodel energy, just height. Oh, it's okay.
Yeah. You give like 6'2", and yeah.
God. Well, in heels, I am 6'2".
Yeah.
listen, in heels, I'm 6'7", so I understand. I understand. Um,
4?
I'm 6'2".
That's so hot. Love it for you.
Yeah, it's it works sometimes, and other times not so much. But
Interesting. Why? Like when you're like on a plane, maybe?
like when I'm on a plane, or when someone that you meet has specific height requirements, and they're like, "You're too tall for me," and I'm like,
What? Who could ever
I'm
say
aboard.
that? That's crazy.
"Listen,
LA.
it's been said."
Too tall? Is there
Too-
such a thing? That's crazy.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, like, I don't agree with it with Tony. I could understand like Shaquille O'Neal tall,
Yeah,
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's like,
listen. Still give me that.
Baby.
Just give me Jolly Green Giant, honey. I'm here for
I
it.
dated a guy, or I went on a couple dates with a guy, I should say, who was 6'7".
Oh.
And I mean, that's tall. And
Oh,
I
no.
even thought, I was like, this is a little, even for me, like, it feels weird.
Climb that mountain. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm with you, Justin. I would have been like, just
get those
hey,
rock
boo, how
climbing
you
skills
doing?
I was
going.
also
Yes.
scared. I was scared for the rest of them. I'm like,
We got one more question, and this is a really good one. This is from Vic M 1022. What are your hopes for your character on Days, and who do you want her love interest to be?
Ooh, she's coming for Abe.
You're gonna have to fight Paulina for that chocolate.
I'm like, if I can't, I'm gonna ruin Paulina's life one way or another. I'll just take her man.
No, it's funny, Jessica. In the beginning, we have to say we all agreed on that your chemistry with Galen like really sparked something. I think in those initial scenes with Galen, we were like, ooh, like
I definitely thought the same. I was like,
you brought out something in him. Yeah, I am like kudos to you in those scenes.
Challenging
Yeah,
one another. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's something there. I'm like, what's their backstory there?
Yeah.
They hate each other.
So,
and realistically, I think something for sure with Galen maybe in the future.
yeah. I think everyone universally picked up on it. It was like there's something here with them, and there was like a real genuine spark there where it was like, oh wow. Yeah.
That would be fun.
We'll see.
And what are your
lots of handcuffs. I like handcuffs.
Listen, Rafe needs a spark like you, and his character's always been attracted to complicated women, even though he doesn't like it. He goes for the Sambys, the Kates, the Sloans.
oh yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah. But I feel like there's we've gotten to see so many different sides of Sloan with different men. Like when we were first introduced to Sloan with Alex, we were like, duh, like these two people are like almost one and the same,
Yeah.
And then you get her with Eric, and there's just this like the softness that comes out, and this like vulnerability that comes out with being with a man that's so nice and honest and like worldly, because he was a priest and did so much for the children in Africa and all that, and I think that brought something else out of her. And so I don't know, I think Sloan could have a lot of different love interests. It just depends on who she wants to be with at that time.
I mean, people can always let you down. As good of a man as he is, we never know. He's also flawed.
Yeah.
So there's some sort of opportunity to have relationships, in other places with other people, and then maybe they come back to one another. It seems like that happens a lot on the show, especially with Nicole Walker.
Yeah. Demara, Cook, whatever she is
House
at the
like
moment.
that. Oh, is she out of her mind?
And what do you hope for the character moving forward? Like what's your hope for?
Well, I hope that someone else comes in town and pisses me off. I hope that I get to stay fiery and I, she better not become some housewife of Eric or whatever. Like, I just love you so much. Like, you've just shown me the world in a different way. Like, let's just like have kids and I'll support your dreams, Eric. Like,
I know a lot of people
ever be that person, but no, just I would like to get back to that like really fiery place. Right now there's a lot of like sweetness going on, which is fun and I love it. Yeah. But just the drama. I love the drama. So just Sloan needs to always have drama. That's it.
Listen, we're trying to see Peterson Law Firm in that's what we're trying to find.
I think a lot of fans too are interested in this so-called brother you keep mentioning, and to see like Sloan as a sibling. Is there like, is the brother like her? Is he opposite? Will we get some interesting sibling dynamics there?
Fantastic. I love it. He's Sloan Peterson on crack. Like, just, I don't know, again, what I could say. But you do meet my brother.
Oh, okay.
Say that.
Sorry. Too late.
Yeah. We'll move on. Moving on.
It's okay. Our fans know that you're like way ahead of scheduling. It's like it's okay. It's okay. We have like tons of stuff to get through before.
But luckily, if we're pre-taping, so like if it needs to be, then
but so you guys cut this together?
Well, normally we would just post it, but with that, like we always run under we don't want to get anyone in trouble. So we've we'll take care of this if we need to, and if it just needs to be kept between us, we'll keep it between us.
Fine. I'll ask Leah after the interview.
Yeah. And then she'll message me and go, "Girl, cut that out." And I'm like, "All right, girl."
Just so you know, we because we love the character of Sloan, we value your job security.
Yes. Well, we value everyone's job security because we don't want somebody to come for us either.
But
but no, that's exciting. I love when the show grows a character like that, and we get to see more of that. So I'm excited about that.
You're writing me a lot, and so it's it's definitely been a blessing, a lot of pressure to make sure to perform well, show up, because since they're trusting me and they're giving me such a beautiful opportunity, they're writing it for me. I'm trying to give it my all back, like as a thank you very much for.
Well, Liz, you're doing an amazing job, and I think that the character of Sloan is you are creating such a dynamic character. So like, kudos to you. Kudos, and we cannot wait to see how everything keeps unfolding because Sloan can hold her own, and we like a character like that comes in and can do that.
I'm really falling in love with it now. Like when the past, I'd say like 4 episodes, I started to become proud of my work, whereas before it was like it's kind of hard to watch yourself. I'm like, oh, I would have done that so different. Oh, I didn't. But now I'm very happy with it.
Good. What has this experience taught you? Because as you said earlier, soaps are very hard. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of dialogue. How have you grown and what have you learned so far through this experience about yourself?
I've learned that you have to really narrow down your focus in life with what it is that you want to be great at. I found myself always trying to be good at so many different things. Like I wanted to be a great actress, also write, and play piano and play tennis and like try all these things. And really there's only so many hours in the day, and doing this takes up so much of my time. And like I'm growing and I see myself learning and becoming better. That's because I'm really putting in the time, and I don't have a lot of free time outside of this. And so those other things that I thought I wanted to do to squeeze into my schedule, if you really want to be great at something, you have to pour yourself fully into it. It's like Serena Williams, you know, like anybody that you can think of in sports. Do you think that they're off like you know, also like Selena Gomez? She was acting. They wanted her to become a singer. She's like, it's going to be too much to put on my plate to do both. That's why she really, when she was doing, you know, film or TV or Disney, she did that. Music, she like squeezed in a movie here and there, but really this has taught me that you got to just pour your heart and soul into something and give it all your time and focus and attention, and it requires a lot, and the reward is so beautiful that if you love what you do, you have to love what you do, because you're gonna, if you want to be great, you have to put so much time and effort and heart into it.
Yeah. And as you said, they're writing for you now. They're keeping you in mind. They're putting in the time in you. So that's a lesson that if you put in the time, you will get back in full what you receive.
One day I showed up and I was really, really not prepared. Bad. And Maria, who is, her main job is there to run lines with us and to work with us and help us. She goes, honey, you're in bad shape. She goes, you can't. She's like, they're writing for you. And she was the one that opened my eyes to that. She was like, they're writing for you. You know what I mean? Not just writing to write. Like this is a gift that they're giving to you. So you have to, you know, respect them and show that, like, you know, be grateful. Otherwise they'll just stop writing for you if you're not going to put all of yourself into it.
Wow. And that's why you're a front burner storyline.
Yes.
Well, Jessica, this has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us today. I really hope that fans feel like they've gotten to know you more. They've gotten to understand the character of Sloan more, and they just continue rooting for you and watching out for you, because get ready, Salem.
Get ready, Salem. Thank you guys so much. This was so fun and easy. You're all lovely, and I hope to see you again very soon.
Yes, for sure. Yes, we will definitely have you back on as things continue to unfold.
Okay. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you too.
Happy New Year.
Bye.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, you guys, that was great.
Delightful.
Yeah, she was such a delight. So amazing. So, well, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you to Jessica Serfaty for joining us today. And we will see you guys in 2023. But before we head out, for one last time in 2022, Justin Hareld is the one social media platform you would like Santa to bring you. No, I'm just kidding. Where can they find you?
Santa. You can find me on Instagram at Justin Lee Hareld.
And Araceli, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Tia323 Araceli.
And listen, y'all, don't forget about Michael Mattis. Y'all make sure y'all go follow him, bug him, torture him at ML Mattis on Instagram and Twitter. You can find me on all social media platforms at Lounging with Tony. And of course, please make sure you follow us on Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, and Dishin Days on Twitter. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. This year, we greatly appreciate you all, and we cannot wait to see you next.
Yes.
Everyone, stay safe, and we will see you guys next year.
See you soon.
Bye everybody.